evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to the virtual Daytona International Speedway, where for the fourth time, the iSuperspeedway.com racing series, IROC, the Race of Champions, gets Season 4 underway this evening. It is Part 1 on LSRTV's Rod Car double feature on LSRTV at iRacing Live, and we're happy to bring you into the Daytona International Speedway for IROC 4 race number 1. The best drivers of the iSuperspeedway.com racing series getting set to take to the track in the COT cars for 40 laps tonight at Part 1 of our doubleheader. Again, later on tonight, the iSuperspeedway 500. But until we get to that, we've got a ever so exciting series to bring to you, and we're happy to have you with us on LSRTV at iRacing Live. As always, Evan Pasoko, Andy Kessler with you. LSRTV producer Cisco Scaramuza down in the production trailer, getting us on the air this evening, Andy. IROC, always a unique part of these Friday night doubleheaders, and we're excited to get for the fourth time this IROC championship underway. Greg Hooks was our inaugural IROC champion a couple of years ago now. Rod Flagg has since become a two-time champ, taking home the IROC 2 and IROC 3 titles, but tonight a new schedule begins and a new championship season as well gets underway. Race 1 of 4 will race back here in Daytona under the lights in June to crown an IROC champion, but it all starts tonight for 40 laps.
Yeah, it does. That's the only unfortunate part about this series is we only get to see it 4 times, Evan, in this old car for as far as the sim racing world is in these COT cars. But no, it's the best of the iSuperspeedway.com racing series, and past champions, winners, they're all here. 12 of the best just going to duke it out for 40 laps, and they always are exciting races. They're always close. They always have great finishes, and I'm sure the start of this season will be just like the rest of them.
And you'll see all the drivers out there with the same IROC paint scheme, and on top of that, the numbers on the cars going to dictate where they start tonight's grid from. A little bit of a cool thing to be able to follow along with as the night goes on. So right now, the drivers are working through that 30-minute warm-up session. As always, no major changes to the rules for IROC 4. Once we grade up, again, qualifying already determined before they hit the track tonight based on Against Statistics championships and all that good stuff. Biggest winners in this series, if you want to talk about, Greg Hooks and Rod Flagg, only drivers to get 3 victories in their careers here. And then as well, Josh Hanner is the driver sitting third highest there with 2 trips to victory lane. Other than that, there's a lot of big names in this series. And we have done 3 seasons, but when I say only, keep in mind that 3 seasons is just 12 races. But to be fair, there's a lot of big names that have yet to win IROC races. There's a lot of names that have double-digit wins on the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series Cup Series side of things that don't have wins or just have 1 win. It is a very fun series. We're going to see these guys pack a full grid of 43 cars onto the track later tonight. Well, there's plenty of room for these guys to get physical with a grid that's looking like it's going to be in the range of about 15 cars.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we talk about this with this IROC series, having the limited cars on the track, and what that's just going to do, like you said, give them more room, gives them more opportunity to be able to race each other. And you'll probably see a lot of that 3-wide action here tonight also with these cars. But you know what, also too, the problem with that is if you lose that draft, you're pretty much out of luck, unfortunately. Unlike the Daytona 500 we're going to see later on tonight, when if you lose that lead pack, you get that second pack to grab onto. But not the case here with the IROC series, and I don't expect to see any of these guys, when you're talking about the best of the best, losing the draft anyway. You're going to see a nice little pack of 12 to 15 cars here anyway, all packed up real nice, and just going to see a lot of swaps for the lead, I think, Evan. We've seen that over the past few weeks with the new build that's come out and how that outside line really pays the advantage to get the lead, but we'll see how it plays out here tonight. It should be a lot of fun.
I want to welcome everybody who continues to file into our coverage of the IROC Season 4 opener on LSRTV at iRacing Live. We're getting set to get our Rod Car Friday night doubleheader underway. So with that, we'll toss things down trackside to Wesley Bryant on the guitar to get us underway with the national anthem. And with that, we are set to hit the track. Drivers on the grid and now rolling behind the pace car. Let's take a look trackside. We'll rack them and stack them and take a look at the LSRTV starting grid. They'll go numerically as well. Pole sitter tonight going to be Josh Hanner. He'll start tonight off from the top spot, and Christian Peterson's number 2 will roll from second. Matt Quick going to start in third. Josh Ball starting in fourth, and Rodney Wofford will roll from fifth.
Sixth place starting tonight will be Jason Altmans. Chris Bassini's going to roll off in that 7th spot. Brandon Chaburko in the number 8. Starting 8th, Seth the Merchant in the 9 car, and starting 9th, Rod Flagg's going to round out the top 10.
Greg Busilia going to start tonight in 11th position. Shane McEachin 12th. Ray Rittenauer the 2nd in 13th. Corey Henry 14th. Kent Connolly 15th. And Dan Harrington running in the number 16th position. Again, tonight is race 1 of 4 on the 4th season of the iSuperspeedway Race of Champions at LSRTV. And when we come to a close in this race, the main event, the iSuperspeedway 500, is next. But we're happy to have you with us for the time being on LSRTV at iRacing Live. 4th time we'll get an IROC Championship underway. We're green from Daytona. Josh Hanner across the start-finish line and under the flag stand gets this IROC Championship underway. And it is the green number 1 Chevrolet to turn number 1 for the first time out in front of the field.
That high side, a little slacking on the start right there. Had a little bit of a gap between those top runners right there. That's going to push that Christian Peterson machine in the number 2 back to about that 4th spot right now. He's got a little bit of drafting help now as they start to power their way into turn number 3. That's number 4, Josh Ball, giving him the push.
And again, you could follow along because the numbers are where they started in this race, so it kind of gives you a little bit of an interesting insight into the strategy in this one. You talk about strategy, Josh Hanner jumps up to the outside of the racetrack, trying to get hooked up with, at least at this moment, the 2 Christian Peterson. Thought he gave up the race lead. He still had it at the start-finish line. However, Matt Quick on the inside lane got up to 2nd spot. He'll make it a door-to-door battle, though, in the corner. Interesting call by that one machine to give up the inside lane of the racetrack. I know we talked about the outside being a good place to be to pass. The one machine might think that that's the place to run in. We'll see. Half a car length advantage still for Hanner down the backstretch, but as the 5 and the 7 get on the back bumper of Matt Quick's number 3 Chevy Impala, they gain momentum. It swings in their favor, and off of turn number 4, new race leader going to be Matt Quick.
Yeah, Matt Quick getting it done right now. He's got Rodney Wofford, the guy you always want pushing you in that number 5 car right there, right behind him. Seasoned veteran, all-time wins leader here at the iSuperspeedway Series. So that's definitely a guy you wouldn't mind either following or having pushing you right now. But that move by Josh Hanner now is falling him back to a battle for that 5th position right now. So that top side not working, but I really think that 2 car is the main culprit right now as they go 3 wide back there. That's Christian Peterson on the top side. The 8 of Brandon Chaburko trying to split them now 3 wide into turn number 3. That 2 car just has not been going anywhere since the drop of the green flag. Evan, I'm not sure if he's got some issues or maybe something mechanical, a steering wheel or something going wrong with that 2 car, because that's unlike him.
He started second, and I was taking a look at the practice speeds. Didn't appear to have any problems. He was second, and again, a lot of practice is involved in the draft, but he is falling back. It could be, though, by design. Over his teammate Seth the Merchant is up inside of the top 5, so it would be an interesting strategy call nonetheless. Speaking of Seth the Merchant, working with the 3 of Matt Quick, and instinctively I wanted to see that that's Brandon Chaburko doing Brandon Chaburko, but it is Matt Quick behind the wheel of the 3 Chevrolet. He went up to block Rodney Wofford, who went to the high side down the Daytona Superstretch the last time by. It didn't work, and that's why we found ourselves 3 wide. Thankfully for the 3, the 9 picks him up, and now you see that 3 defending both lanes into the tri-oval, trying to kill the momentum off of the outside. He'll hold up the 5 for Rodney Wofford, but the inside open up by the 9 is Seth the Merchant. No help in time to do anything with it. But now that 4 machine has gotten to Seth the Merchant, the top 2 drivers in the championship from 1 season ago in the iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series, running 1-2 on the inside and 2-4 on track, trying to give Matt Quick a run for his money. Meanwhile, pole sitter Josh Hanner slides back to 8th.
Yeah, he struggled right there when he went to that high side. It was pretty much because of that 2 car either struggling or wanting to go to the back, but he's been able to catch up to the draft now of these top 6 guys. So Hanner back in position to get something done here in the early going. Here's a complete lap number 5 in this race, and 35 more to go. Lots of things can happen, a lot of shuffling we'll see, but there's also something to remember too about the series and the new rules package for 2016 is the fact on these short races, these little sprint races, there is no reset. So these guys have to be careful, especially in the early going. You really don't want to use up your stuff or have the opportunity to get in an accident. They go 3 wide now for the lead into turn number 3. Look at the 4 car, Josh Ball splitting them right up the middle. He's going to assume the lead right now, as now here comes the 5 of Rodney Wofford. He's going to go 3 wide to get that second spot away from those guys.
Josh Ball saw an opening, he went to the middle, and he got the spot, and now he'll fall back to the 9 because he got so far out in front. He had actually pulled 2-3 car lengths on the rest of the field. Field going to catch back up to him, but not before he goes to the race lead. Josh Ball in front in turn number 1, and now Rodney Wofford, who was on the outside of the 3 wide, pinches down to the 9 to set the Merchant. Got a little bit too close for comfort that time at 1 and 2. He'll swing wide off the corner and wait for the 7 Chris Bassini, who's trailed by the 11 of Frank Basilia the 3rd to catch up, get some bump drafting going on, and try to make a charge forward. Again, we talk about the draft and we talk about the rules underneath the Rodicar banner, at least on the ISS side of things. No bump drafted in the quarters, no bump drafted in the tri-ovals. You have to get everything you can out of the spots that you are allowed to draft upon. As you see the 7 go low but reconsider and jumps back out behind the 5 for Rodney Wofford. You got to get on the bumper out of 2 and then get off it right into 3. You've got to maximize all that time. Well, these COT cars, they're made to bump draft. The body shapes of the back bumper and the front bumper line up very well. It could be a lot more aggressive in these cars than the Gen 6 cars, Andy, that we're going to see later on tonight, where they don't line up quite so nicely.
Yeah, you can be. And, you know, when you talk about the rule package for the bump drafting, really, I mean, the main part or the most part of the racetrack that you're going to get the most advantage out of the bump drafting is obviously that back straightaway, how long it is, and before you get back into turn number 3. That's where we really see that top side really gain its momentum. That's where we typically see most of the passes from the high side getting down over those guys in the front runners on the bottom lane, Evan, is because of that bump draft. They can get on it, and it's all about timing it coming off of turn number 2 and being right there ready to get on that guy's bumper. And I'm not sure if it's a draft package or what, but we have not seen too much of it here early on. It could be these guys just trying to settle in and try to count these laps down and make it to the end before they try to get too aggressive.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because we talk about how big of a group aspect this is, the fact that you're not going to be able to do it all on your own, and then we remember how Josh Ball got to the top spot, but you see, with no help, you can't do much on the inside. The 5, then on the 7, they jump up to the outside. They'll go to 1, 2, and 3. As the 4 of Josh Ball right back where he started in the number 4 spot, and it's Rodney Wofford to the race lead. You're seeing everybody, though, swing way high coming off of turn number 2. Quarter distance. This next time by, we'll have 10 down and 30 to go in Daytona, but you're seeing them start to push up the hill. The handling, without a doubt, beginning to go away on these cars.
Yeah, a lot of these drivers after practice were talking about how actually tight these cars were going through the corner. So the setup that they've obviously come with these COT cars, and plus with the big hole that they punch into the air, these guys get real tight coming off these corners, and that's why you'll see them kind of drift up towards the top a little bit and towards that wall. And you see a lot of the guys trying to take advantage of that by pinching the guys in the bottom down. By doing that, the bottom side just gets that much more tight, and then they have a problem, and they actually lose momentum coming down the straightaway. As you see a big battle for the lead right now. Seth the Merchant trying to take this race lead away. He doesn't have any help, though, Evan, going into turn number 3. You got Chris Bassini on the high side helping out Wofford.
Yeah, and that 9 machine is going against the crowd on the bottom of the racetrack. And again, we always say that with the draft model in the sim and the way you have to drive the cars in the sim, these COTs are different than the Cup cars that we'll see later on tonight. But it is primarily a group-based draft package. Well, you see, they're going in groups, but of 2 and 3, the 5 going to get a push by the 7. Wofford going to come down, take over the race lead. I thought Chris Bassini may have had an opportunity to jump down. He didn't do it. The 9's got a check up for getting tight. 3 wide down the backstretch as Jason Altmans goes to the bottom. Frank Vaselia, the third, the push on the inside. 3 wide with the 11, the 9, and the 1 in turn number 3. And in the blink of an eye, Seth the Merchant now in 6th.
Yeah, it just fell right back like a rock right there, and you get left out to dry. You just it just kills the momentum, kills the top end speed of these cars, and he falls back. It doesn't have any help. As now Tuberco's looks like he's gonna get up to his back bumpers. It looks like everyone really trying to run that high side, and then they get into the corner. They'll drop down to the bottom right now. We got another 3 wide action brewing here off turn number 2. You got the 4. Oh, and Seth the Merchant's in the wall, a little too tight there for the 9 car. He actually scrapes the wall there, loses tons of momentum. And look at this, the 2 car of Christian Peterson making a big run down the back straightaway. He'll get 2 spots right there with that pass. So a lot of tightness you're seeing out of these cars right now, Evan. And the first victim of that, obviously, with the Seth the Merchant into the wall off turn 2.
And he was able, again, as I mentioned, to defend the run by Rodney Wofford, but he got tight off the corner. That's where Passini passed him, and the tight condition not going away. Seth the Merchant, that contact with the fence to get hurt, and that's why you see everybody going up to the outside of the racetrack. They want to swing and arc the corner, not something that you normally talk about at a plate track. And back to the point that I mentioned just before all that broke out about 3 laps ago, I was talking about group versus what is a tandem draft, or what we used to see when this was the Cup car on iRacing. Because there's only 12 drivers on track, it kind of feels a little bit more like a tandem or a 2-car draft race as opposed to a pack race, because we're spread out quite a bit. Everybody inside the top 8, single file for now. For side-by-side fight is Brandon Chiverko in the number 8 spot, trying to get 7th away from Christian Peterson. He'll do so on the inside as he gets up to the back bumper to Jason Altmans, tucks back up in line high side.
That's a pretty good move there by Chiverko to gain another spot. He's been battling all night to get spots. As Peterson now looking back to the inside of him, so they're going to swap positions.
Oh, the
here.
7 car's in the fence. Passini, yeah, he got right where Seth the Merchant got into the fence. The 7 nicked it on the outside. Good save, but just like we saw with the 9, he loses a lot of speed. The 12 of Shane McEachin gets turned, and he'll come up collecting the number 13 machine. Ray Rittenauer is involved. Shane McEachin, heavy damage. The 13 going to spin down into the grass and off the racing surface. Well behind your leaders. Only 2 cars involved. No caution. Will stay green.
Yeah, no caution for that move right there. And probably only reason being is that there was only 2 cars involved with that. So iRacing didn't throw a caution, and neither will the administrators or race control in this race either. So we continue on. Green flag racing. Oh, it's a 5 now. Wofford gets tight. Off of turn number 2.
Oh, there goes the 1 machine. Henner cut it too close. 1 car around. He'll turn the 5 machine. Rodney Wofford into the outside wall. Caution flag will fly at lap number 16. And we saw this brewing for the last 8 laps or so. We'll take a second look on the LSRTV replay. Exact same scenario, Andy, than what we saw just moments ago with Shane McEachin, and that as the 5 got into the fence, he was okay, but the 1 machine just a little bit too aggressive. Josh Hanner tries to cut back to the outside. I will say that the 5 came down a little bit, but those guys get together. The 1 gets turned across the nose, and that 5 machine just about went up and over, but he's able to keep it down on all 4 tires. Didn't get into the fence, though, and that's about 2-3 drivers who pick up a good lick of damage.
Yeah, that's a pretty good look. And like we talked about, there's no reset in this short race, so for those guys there with the damage, they're going to obviously try to get some fixed here when they get back out on track and have the opportunity here under the caution flag. But we know how sensitive these cars can be on a super speedway as far as the aerodynamic package. So a wrinkle in the fender is going to hurt you in your top end speed. You might be able to get in line with somebody else, but and be behind them, maybe push them, and that'll help. But for those guys to actually lead a line now is going to be a real tough thing to do. And some of those guys will probably see actually get out of the race here. Probably the 12. I think he hit the wall too hard there. Oh, and now he takes out Chiverko under caution.
The 8 machine of Brandon Chiverko will spin down into the grass, and the 8 machine of Brandon Chiverko riding on the inside, and the 12 machine, you always think about accidental contact under the caution flag. That did not look accidental to me. That 12 machine went up high. He headhunted him. Chiverko knew it was coming. Talk about getting the season off with a bang early or already getting physical. The 12 machine of Shane McEachin gives some payback to Brandon Jaburko under the caution flag.
Yeah, I know there's been a lot of talk actually on Facebook and everywhere else about some aggressive driving by certain drivers in the league and making blocks like what we saw right there. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on, and hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully, Evan, it doesn't spill over into the 500 here tonight, because that would be unfortunate, because a lot more cars would be involved. But yeah, that was definitely that was definitely something he meant to do right there.
And we're going to try to get a second look at what happened at the at lap 15. We mentioned Shane McEachin was down in the grass. Andy, would you believe if I told you that Brandon Jaburko was involved in that contact? It starts to make a lot more sense. We'll take a second look. The 8 machine in the middle of the racetrack. We're going to pull up the replay. Lap 15, the middle of the Daytona Superstretch. Jaburko in a 3 wide, Andy, cuts in behind the 9. He wasn't clear. And that's what took out Shane McEachin. Again, McEachin went down to the grass, came back up, took the 13 machine out. We mentioned no caution was automatically triggered by the sim, and then there was no caution thrown from race control because of the fact that the incident did not involve 3 or more drivers. So Shane McEachin got taken out of this race by Brandon Jaburko, and he did everything he could to take Brandon Jaburko out of the race.
That he did. And you know what? Hey, listen, I guess, I'm sure there's going to be something. These guys will be talked to at least by race control, but we'll see what happens as far as that goes. I highly doubt maybe a suspension or anything like that will come down to this, but you never know. And I'm sure it's something you don't want to see happen. You don't want to see guys, because what usually happens is usually an innocent bystander gets caught up in that too. It looked like right there under that caution flag, nobody else was involved. So that probably plays a little bit in the role of the decision of race control, but I'm sure that's not something they want to see on a regular basis.
I know that there's drivers out there, Andy, that are a lot more aggressive than others. I love them all, mainly because I don't have to race against them. There's a couple of guys that don't like each other because they have very, different styles of driving and the approach scenarios differently. We get to enjoy them all because we don't have to get out on track and deal with them. So, you look at a case where the mentality, I think, of the motto, the way Brandon Jaburko drives, if somebody wronged him, I feel like he'd be the one doing the same thing. Now, you're not going to like when it happens to you. That's all part of racing, though. And, it's race 1. We didn't really have an off-season. Again, we mentioned the Season 5 ISS Championship came to a close. The week after that was the shootout. Last weekend was the duels. Tonight, round 3, second points race in the iSuperspeedway 500. There's no time for these rivalries to kind of simmer down, and you hit me one too many times. Something like that will happen. I don't expect any major repercussions. Brandon Jaburko obviously not happy because, again, it's a 4-race championship. A DNF here, which he sits in his pit stall at the moment, so it looks like he may be getting a DNF. Not sure if he will continue to try to get that car fixed. But a DNF would hurt him very much so here. So he's going to roll off in the pit lane. He'll continue to try to get it fixed tonight. Not going to be back at 100%. It does sting him, though. But both he and Shane McEachin basically taking themselves out of competition here tonight.
Yeah, that they did. And it actually looks like some repercussion from race control has already happened. Shane McEachin is going to get a black flag on this restart. So
and by the way, he didn't object to it. He accepted the black flag as well. I think he knows.
I was just going to mention that comment. I'll take it, he says.
He knows.
So, oh, yeah. Well worth it in his eyes. I'll put it that way.
Money well spent, you could say. So lights on the pace car go off, and this caution flag going to knock this race in half. It is going to be a 20-lap shootout to the finish in Daytona. We'll put 20 down and 20 to go on the board. When we go back green flag racing, let's take a look at the running order for the American Ethanol green flag. Josh Ball, the number 4 machine. Weren't we just talking about how he went from 1st to 8th in 2 corners? Well, he's back in front. Frank Basilia in 2nd. Jason Altman's Chris Bacidi, Ronnie Wofford give you the top 5 drivers for the restart. Ray Rittenauer, the only driver so far car to be showing that his night is done. 12 laps, or rather 12th spot, but 2 laps down. Not officially out of the race, but he is stationary in the pit stall. Shane McKeach's number 12 may not be able to make it much further. Brandon Chaburko getting damage repair, so is Josh Hanner. They'll be towards the back. When we get set to go back at it, so halfway down, and we're halfway home. We start counting down towards the end of the season opener for the ISS IROC 4 Championship. Pace car getting up down to the safety of pit road to the American Ethanol Go Zone. We go green flag under the flag stand.
Wow, and talk about somebody timing something right there. Look at Chaburko on the outside. Go right to the lead, and I have a feeling that was, he's just been black flagged, so little bit of an illegal move right
and
there.
by the way, it really didn't look like he set it up all that much. He was at full speed getting off of the pit lane. You can't blow by the field like that, so the 8 is going to get black flagged. And, they talked about the contact that he had with the 12 of Shane McKeachin. The 8 obviously not the best of moves. We'll go 3 wide, though. The 2 and the 5 going to squeak on by on the outside. So the 8 machine is going to be given a black flag, and I believe that means he'll be forced down pit road. I believe, depending on what kind of black flag was issued towards him. Still at the moment, they'll race it inside of the lead pack. Look at the outside. Frank Basilia, the 3rd to the race lead, and he'll bring the 7 to Chris Bassini with him. No love for Josh Ball on the bottom. Even the 5 machine leaving him everybody going topside.
Yeah, what? Wow. I'm just still mesmerized by that move with 8 did, but you got a black flag, so he's basically got 3 laps to come down, but he's blocking already. He's blocking Hanner now in the 1 car. So Hanner's still on the lead lap in that 9th spot, but here comes Peterson now. Racing for the lead here as he goes down into turn number 3 on the inside now of Frank Busilia. You got the 7 of Chris Bassini on the outside now, and here comes Josh Ball to the inside to give a little help to Christian Peterson as they make their way to the stripe. Frank Busilia going to continue to lead this one. Lots of help right there from the 7 of Chris Bassini.
And the 7 is in the middle of that sandwich with the 11 in front of him, the 9 behind him. It is now Peterson leading the inside charge. He'll give up the race lead to the 11. And we talked about the tight condition. Well, the outside almost the place to be, and we're beating and banging at it. Turn 2, contact between Peterson and Bassini that time.
Yeah, a little bit of contact with those guys. I think they, all right, I was just watching something. I saw the 12 up there on the high side. Knew the 8 was coming, so I was just keeping an eye on that. Those 2 guys. Didn't know if it was done or not, but back to Christian Peterson. They're able to get back under. One thing I've noticed about this race here so far, Evan, is that the leader a few times now has been able to push themselves out to a 4 or 5 car length lead, which is something uncommon that you see at a plate track, but we've seen it a couple times. Obviously, the pack's going to be able to catch back up to them, which they do. But we're having some chatter over the radio now. Some guys are not too happy with a couple of cars.
Yeah, they're not happy with the 8 of Brandon Chaburko. Again, he was assessed the black flag from race control. Still yet to come down and serve it. And the 1 machine at Josh Hanner not particularly happy because that 8 machine, well, it is a lead lap car. Didn't get out of that lead draft. It cost him some time. The 8 could duck down the pit road this time and serve what I would imagine would be about a stop and go, maybe a 15-second penalty. So he is down. The damage done, though. Hanner and Matt Quick at 8th to 9th position. Now 3.5 seconds off of the lead draft of 7. And even in that number 7 spot, the 6 of Jason Oatman's not all that safe for falling off at the back end. The excitement in front, though, up the inside. Seth the Virgin, iSuperspeedway defending champion on the inside of the racetrack. The 11 on the outside. The challenge from Frank Basilia, the 3rd, and a 9 machine. He'll get it in 3 and 4. Could he hang on at the start-finish on the drag race? Outside, going to be the lane with all the momentum, using those 33 degrees of banking when they came out for 4. Still Basilia in front by half a tenth.
As we go on board with the 2 car right now, that's Christian Peterson. He's actually working now. Finally, he's found his teammate there in the 9, Seth the Merchant. Those 2 have been working and got themselves to the lead. Now they're going to find themselves battling Frank Busilia. Frank's done a great job here being able to hang on to this lead, whether he's had to go to the bottom or go to the top. Frank Busilia is getting the job done right now. And it looks like Josh Ball had some trouble there. I'm not sure if any contact was made there in the turn number 3, but he made a great save right there.
But
that's
five, I think.
Yeah, that's going to drop 3 guys now a little further off the pack. Now we only have 4 up front.
It was a good save. I don't think he got much damage from it. He'll drop behind the 6 of Jason Altman's. I was talking about Altman's being in a risky spot to lose the draft. Well, now you've got Altman's, Ball, and Piscini running 5, 6, and 7. About a second off the lead draft. We'll see if 3 cars is enough for them to stay up front. But again, because there's such a low car count, you can use the 2-car tandem. Not necessarily that they're hooked up and working in exact tandem, but we're spreading things out. And the 11 of Frank Basilia in front, no help. The 9 had help from the 2, no question about it. So Christian Peterson pushes teammate Seth the Merchant to the front. They'll lead 1-2 at lap 27, drop the 11 back to 3rd.
Yeah, that's a lonely feeling when you're Frank Basilia right there. You got 2 teammates that are going to hook up right there, and the field's going to make their way around the 8 car now. And Brandon Chaburko served his penalty, now finds himself down a lap right now in the field 3 wide, just going by him awfully close there for a lot of those guys. But we got a 3-car breakaway right now, and Frank Basilia's done a great job, though, hanging on to that draft of those 2 guys. Sometimes that's a little tricky to hang on to a couple guys that have a run like that, but he did a great job hanging on to that draft. He's actually going to try to battle back now to the inside. Not going to have any help, so it's not going to amount to much as this second pack of cars, 4 of them, led by the 6 of Jason Altman's, now coming into the picture.
Yeah, it is now one large big pack again up at the front of the field because everybody is back together once again. And again, they had enough guys together so that they could draft back up. But it was just one of them. But it was just Piscini back there. He was falling off. But now once you got 3 together, they got the draft, and we're back with one big pack of 7 drivers in front of the field. Outside of them, Matt Quick, Josh Hanner, only drivers on the lead lap, 8th to 9th. They're over 10 seconds back. But the outside continues to work with the advantage. The 9 and the 2 topside. Watch out for the 5 and the 6. They've been getting awfully close. Rodney Wofford and the number 6 of Jason Altman's. Not that they're racing aggressively against each other. They're just getting pretty tight off the corners and leaning on each other's doors a little bit. They're side by side for 4th.
Yeah, side by side for that 4th spot. Second in line is Jason Altman's on that bottom side. Frank Basilia, a little bit of a gap right there. That's going to definitely give him a disadvantage going down the back straightaway here. As you can see, the 2 really starting to pull up on that back bumper. The 9 go back into turn number 3. They'll have the slight advantage. They just have them cleared right now, but they're going to decide to stay on that high side. Almost we usually see at some of these intermediate tracks or short tracks, guys protecting the bottom. I think the 2 and the 9 are trying to protect the top side.
Yeah, we normally, and if you talk about maybe a couple of months ago in ISS as well, everybody is single file on the bottom. 2 or 3 guys go to the outside. They clear the leader. They drop down. That's no longer the case. A lot of the guys have been giving a really good positive feedback about the current draft model on the sim. A little bit of 3 wide as the 6 falls back on the outside. He'll tag the fence. He hangs on. Jason Altman's going to get a little bit of bird poop on the right side of that car. It'll drop back down in line. And look at the 11, hard to the inside. Frank Basilia going to move the 2 out of the way. He'll break up that duo in front of the field.
He will, but I wouldn't be surprised to see the 9 maybe get up there. But I think it's too late at this point to go up there and rescue his teammate as Frank Basilia gets good run towards the start-finish line. Not going to lead that lap, but he's going to be able to pull away now from the 9 car. I think this gives the opportunity for the 9 and the 2 to hook back up here on the top side and give another shot at this, give another run. As right now we have 9 laps left to go.
Yeah, we're within inside of the final 10 laps. To have to mention a caution inside the final 5 would end this race under the caution flag with there not being a green-white checker system in the iRacing service. So if you want to make a move, you don't want to wait until turn 4. I know the question is always predator or prey as Seth the Merchant slides up, kisses the fence, loses a little bit of speed. And normally you're asking that question thinking, do you want to be the lead car off of turn 4 for the final time or the second car in line? Well, on this sim with no green-white checkers, I want to lead as soon as I can, and I need to block as much as I can. Look at the 9 up the inside, contact the 5 and the 2. Rodney Wofford gonna hang on after contact in turn 1.
Yeah, that was an amazing save. Oh, and a 4. Josh Ball gets in the wall. He's going to spin. Take out the 7 and the 5.
5 hard into the fence. The 2 of Christian Peterson slides to the inside. He will hang on. No caution. There it is. Yellow flag is out. Not automatically triggered by the sim, but race control going to throw the yellow. As that accident, unlike, to note, the incident we saw earlier in this race with the number 12, in which there was no caution flag, that incident did involve 3 cars. The 7, the 4, and the 5 were involved. So it is a automatic caution flag from race control. We'll take a second look on the LSRTV replay in a moment, but this is going to get good because you thought we were having some fun. Now we're going to have maybe not an official one, but we'll be close to a green-white checker of our own right in that window of about 4, 3, 2 laps to go, depending on the frequency of pit service.
Yeah, now here's the big question. How tight these cars are right now. About 15 laps or so they ran on the green flag right there. So do you come down and pit? Do you take this opportunity to get 4 tires and maybe loosen the car up just a little bit? That'll help you in this final little sprint to the finish. Or, well, we shall see as a couple of guys here looking to scope out the damage with each other, and the 9 and the 12 teammates right there trying to figure out what they need to do. But I think you'll see a few of these guys maybe gamble and take a risk and come down pit road. There is only 9 cars on the lead lap, so it's not like you're putting yourself way out of contention by pitting.
We are going to find out. At turn number 4, coming to 6 laps to go, the 11 of Frank Basilia down below the double yellow line. And he is coming down for service. And with that, I would expect most everybody else to be down pit road. Because again, based on the movement we've seen, Andy, there's no advantage now to stay out and pick up 1 or 2 spots. You're not going to lead the entire race through to the end. You want those tires. It's going to get aggressive. Everybody's in.
Yeah, the question is, I'm sure there's going to be at least somebody that's going to try to 2-tire stop this thing to the end. And I'm right. The 11 of Frank Basilia is only going to take right side tires. Honestly, I would take the 4, Evan, at this point.
Yeah, he's the only one on 2.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's got the race lead, but, you know, his
car race lead doesn't mean much. I don't think we've seen somebody lead 5 laps in a row tonight.
No, and I think that you're going to see a lot of guys here be able to surpass him, especially being restarting on the bottom side for the 11. So with those 2 tires, it'll loosen it up a little bit, but I really think that with the caution flag, I think I would have taken the 4. We'll see what happens, though. You never know.
Yeah, that 11 of Frank Basilia is going to go to the race lead, assuming Josh Ball comes down pit road. The 4 is yet to pit. He is behind the American Childhood Cancer Organization. Ford Mustang GT pace car still working with that sharp gold paint scheme on the iRacing pace car in support of the American Childhood Cancer Organization. Been doing that since around third quarter of 2015. Happy to see that partnership continuing. Expecting the 4, though, for sure to come down pit road. We know, and we've seen times in the past, Andy, guys stay out, hope for a quick caution flag to get the win. I don't think that's an option for the 4.
No, because he'll probably be the caution flag if he stays out. He'll just get flat out run over, especially with the smoking car. And you know what, honestly, smoking that bad, I don't think even if he did stay out and they did get a caution, you'd be able to make it to the end without it blowing up. So he does have to come down pit road. And how bad that damage looks, it's probably the end of the night for the 4.
Yeah, he does come down, and if he can get it fixed, it won't be much of a challenge he puts up. It's a lot of black smoke, though, as Josh Hanner hits the pit stall. Lights on a pace car remain on. I think we're going to be looking at 3 laps to go for the restart. It is Basilia, Quick, and Hanner running in front of the field in Daytona. Going to recap some of the guys that have had some problems so far this evening. DNSs for Kent Connolly, Corey Henry, Dan Harrington, Rod Flagg. It was Ray Rittenauer who started in scheduled 13th, ended up being 12th. He is 12th in this race, was in an accident early, is still not officially retired, but it looks like he will be coming home at the back of the pack. Shane McKeechid in 11th position tonight in a DNF, 6 laps down. Chris Bassini 10th to DNF. Roddy Watford is the last driver on the lead lap. He's down pit road with Josh Ball as 2 drivers on the lead lap that got heavily damaged. In that most recent exchange, So how aggressive do you get? Again, you don't want to, you mentioned, Andy, not trying to get things to carry over later tonight between Chiburko and Bikic. You can't just run somebody over to win the race because you got to deal with them for the 500 in, just over an hour, really, for 124 laps in the biggest race on the iSuperspeedway Racing Series calendar. So not saying that you can't be physical, but you can't be stupid about it. You have to use some sort of common sense. I don't think we're going to see much of it because it is going to get wild. You're talking about 3 laps to go, and a caution flag ends it unless we see an accident after the white flag is thrown. Then we race it out to the end. So, but we go back to my point that I mentioned before. You want to get to the race lead as soon as you can. I don't expect anybody to set up a move and make it look pretty. There's an opening, they're going to go for it, even if it's not necessarily an opening that they should go for.
No, you're right. And with only a 4-race season, every point matters when it comes down to the championship and at the end of this thing back in June here. So, even if you're 5th, that's a good run. That's a good finishing spot. But you know what? 4th or 3rd is even better. So, these guys are going to be clawing for every little bit that they possibly can here in the closing 3 laps of this thing. So, we'll have to see what happens. I really like where Matt Quick's sitting, though, in that outside lane, and he's got a pretty good guy right there behind him in the 2 pushing him. So Christian Peterson going to try to get him to the lead. And I honestly don't think it'll take long, and we'll see that 3-car leading this freight train, probably down the back straightaway after the restart.
And the lights on top of the base car go out for the final time tonight. It'll be Busilia and Quick on row number 1. Hanner and Peterson, row 2, row 3, Tiberchin and Altmans, and Chiburko in row number 4, scheduled to be joined by Josh Ball or Ronnie Watford. Both of those cars are still on the pit lane for service. So it's going to be 7 drivers, 3 laps, and just 7.5 miles left to go in Daytona. So what for could be, and it is going to be the final time, we'll take the green flag, but final time the base car, get it up wayside. Do we get set to go back at it? IROC 4, season opener in Daytona, 3 laps away from the checkered flag. Into the American Ethanol restart zone we go to the tri-oval. Green flag back in the air, and it's the 11 of Frank Basilia. Check it out, goodbye. He set sail by 2 car lengths.
That was an absolute fantastic restart right there. The problem is he can't pull away from this group right now. He needs help. And to the outside, here they go, the 3 and the 2 hooking up right now. Frank Basilia trying to decide if he wanted to go up there. He's going to pinch these guys high, though, as you see him run right now. He's leaving that bottom side wide open. Here comes the 6 now of Jason Altmans to give Frank Basilia some help. But exactly like you said, down the back straightaway, that 3 of Matt Quick takes the lead.
You don't normally think of a big jump being a problem, but he just got too far in front. That everybody else got the draft and momentum built up, and he caught the 11 with no help. So the 3 goes to the race lead. The 11 drops to 2nd, followed by Peterson, and followed by Altmans. 2 laps to go. Popsicle sticks in the air in Daytona, and forcing his way outside. It goes Basilia, but all the help is on the bottom. Now he's got to push from the 6th machine of Altmans side by side for the race lead in turn 1.
There's a pretty good battle here shaping up as they come down with only about a lap and a half left to go in this one. Frank Basilia now to the high side. Oh, and they make contact with the 2. That's some kind. Oh, he's all out of shape right here. The 2 just trying to hang on to it.
There goes the 6 and the 3. Altman's into the grass. The 3's into the grass as well. They're going to come back up on track, though. Big contact. Matt Quick going to get smashed in turn number 3. No caution, though. We're still green off of turn number 4. Somehow, now there it is. Yellow flag is out. Just shy of the start-finish line by 10 seconds. Caution will fly before the white flag. Frank Basilia going to win in Daytona.
Wow, and then you saw the 2 and the 9 there making contact there off of turn number 4, and that was kind of odd right there. But the 2, it just seemed like once he got out of shape, Evan, he just could not corral that thing and keep it straight there on the back straightaway going into turn number 3, and that's where all the chaos happened. But a great finish for Frank Basilia, and I guess the 2 tires worked.
Yeah, no kidding, and he'll go behind the pace car. We'll take a second look at all of that, and it all started down in turns 1 and 2. We went 2 wide, a couple of rows deep. It all started with the 2 who got squirrely, and I think Basilia saw the 6 go to the middle. He went to block. 6 went down, got into the 3 machine, and as always, this race is going to be under review until we get official word. Barring any penalties, though, Frank Basilia going around coming off of turn number 4. And for a driver that has just one win in the iSuperspeedway Race of Champions, but is an iSuperspeedway.com Racing Series champion, he'll take the step in the right direction, looking for a title, winning the season opener in Daytona. Frank Basilia, big money winner tonight in Daytona, across the start-finish line. And we got more fun behind him. This time, Chaburko and Josh Hanner going at it after the checkered flag. We're not done yet. No commercial. Keep it rolling.
Wow. Yeah, I have a feeling that it's not going to have many friends later on in the 500 here tonight.
You think?
Yeah, I think a lot of people are watching this one too.
By the way, he got second though.
He did?
Brandon Chaburko's second place tonight. Not bad, all things considered, I'd say.
Well, that's just yeah, no love lost here in the IROC series, we'll put it that way, for round 1 of this year's season. And but Frank Basilia, what a great run for him, and he had a really fast race car. We saw him pull out ahead of everybody a few times there. Just was able to get a run, and it didn't turn around and bite him. And the 2-tire stop there at the end was definitely the right choice for him tonight. It worked out perfectly, and he's able to pull and win, burning him down.
He'll celebrate on the front straightaway, and if you thought this was fun, there are 3 races to go now in the IROC 4 Championship. But make sure you stay tuned. The LSRTV post-race show is next. And then on top of that, later on tonight, in just about an hour, the iSuperspeedway 500. 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific, right here on LSRTV. You could also find us through iRacing Live. That is a race that you're not going to want to miss. It's part 2 of our Ron Car Friday night doubleheader. But we'll be right back from Daytona. Frank Basilia, your winner for IROC 4 race number 1.
Grab your share of the over $1,200 purse in the Laura Lawson Domino's TYJ Daytona Speedweeks now through February 20th, 2016. We are raising money to help Laura battle cancer. 100% of all donations go directly to Laura's GoFundMe medical fund. All 43 drivers in the Laura Lawson Domino's TYJ Daytona 300 get paid. Mark your calendar. The 6 Race Your Way In qualifying races to be held the next 3 weekends, January 29th and 30th, February 5th and 6th, and February 12th and 13th, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Password required. Are you the fastest and best at Daytona? Prove it as LSRTV broadcasts live the Daytona 300 Saturday, February 20th, 2016. Register and donate at Domino'sTYJRacing.com. Look for the green ribbon. $5 minimum donation required. Thank you for your help.
Dropping 81, yo, I dropped the 88. Ricky Bobby shaking.
We're back live in Daytona Beach, Florida, post-race for the IROC 4 season opener. Frank Basilia, second career iSuperspeedway Race of Champions win tonight to get the season 4 calendar kicked off. We want to welcome you back to the LSRTV post-race show from Daytona. Evan Pasoko, Andy Kessler still along with you, joined by LSRTV's producer, Cisco Scarmuza. Gonna get tonight's post-race show kicked off, gonna catch up with some of the drivers, get some post-race reaction. 3 drivers finish on the lead lap, but we are caught up with all of them. And I'm down trackside with the driver of the number 1 machine. Josh Hanner starts from the pole tonight, comes home on the podium. Josh, solid race for you. However, the caution flag there at the end meant that you did not get an opportunity to fight for that checkered flag, but the IROC Season 4 calendar now underway, and a P3 is a good start for you in fighting for a championship.
Yes, that's just luck right there. My car was down on speed and from the first wreck, and just kind of missed the last one. So I just got lucky tonight. That's all that was. And I'm going to give a quick apology to Chaburko. I actually didn't mean to hit him coming to the checkered. I was texting and driving, so let that be a lesson to you.
Well, we know that the 8 machine had a fair bit of visitors tonight, continuing on post-race. So the season opener for this, evidently, we're talking about another 4-race championship. 4 races, though, spread out through 5 months is quite a bit of time between now and race 2, 3, and 4, and round 4 all the way at the end of the ISS Season 6 calendar. So although this IROC series, to a point, kind of gets overshadowed a lot in the conversation to the truck series, the champions of this series, Rod Flag and Greg Cooks, are both champions of the iSuperspeedway Racing Series, the main championship as well. That a subject that you'd like to enter yourself into as well. So it is an important series, and it is kind of fun to get Friday nights kicked off at these big old bulky COTs. I feel like I'm always driving around a city block with them. What do you like about running these IROC races?
It's just fun. You get some bragging rights because these are, the guys that make it into this are some of the best in the league. You don't get in here without winning a race or being a past champion in one of the 3 series. So there's definitely some bragging rights that go along with it. And the cars are just, they drive like tanks, and they're so tight. So you got to save the throttle or work the throttle and save the tires. So it's a little bit fun, kind of a change of pace from what we normally do. So I kind of like it.
I know you got some big stuff coming up, though, in just about an hour. The iSuperspeedway 500. Not that you can learn a lot, I would think, from going from these COT cars to the Gen 6 cars. So we'll talk about, I guess, mentality, and we'll talk about how physical guys are. You saw how bad they wanted this one. They're going to want that 500 a lot more. What's the game plan for tonight?
Well, normally I don't have such a good starting spot, but I'm starting third, and I got my teammate in front of me and a teammate beside me. So I think if it's not too crazy, we're going to try and just kind of stay up front, keep our heads cool, even though we've got that one reset. We don't want to use it. So not going to be too aggressive until about halfway through. But we're going to try and stay up front tonight.
We wish you the best of luck, Josh. The sponsors, the shout-outs. Who do you want to thank for a solid finish here in IROC?
I want to thank you guys for putting on the show. To let Laura Lawson know that our thoughts and prayers are with her. We hope she recovers. We give a shout out to all my friends watching, Brian Blackford, Chris Overland, they're all watching. My teammates in this series, Ryan Key, Stephanie Lessentine, Rod Flagg, Jared Haggerty. And we'll see y'all in the 500.
Josh, best of luck. We'll see you then. Hopefully we'll talk to you.
Yes, sir.
So that is tonight's third place finisher at IROC 4, race number 1. Josh Anner coming home in third tonight. 1 spot up. A lot of conversation on the driver of the debate, Brandon Chaburko. Somehow P2 at a Kessler. You're down on the pit lane with Chubbs.
Yeah, after being down a lap and making, I guess we'd say not making many friends here, getting ready for the 500, but I'm down here with second place finisher Brandon Chaburko. And Brandon, it didn't look too good there about midway through the race, down a lap and some damage on that race car, but somehow, some way, it came home with a second place finish.
Yeah, let me tell you what, this number 8 machine was a great car out there. We were down a lap. We had some damage from some prior incidents. We got into it with Shane McKeechin, I think, and he was the 12, and I came down to get back in line, and I guess I hit him and he crashed, unfortunately. And after that, we came under yellow flag, and he just drove up to me and turned me. And I don't know what that was about, man. That's against the rules. I've seen people get banned for that stuff before. But and then after that, we'll talk about Josh Hainer later, I'm sure. But Josh Hainer was very, very, pleased that I was wrecked under yellow. And so after that happened, we got the damage fixed, and then had a good restart there. I thought it was a great restart. Went to the lead, right? You saw that, and I got black flagged for it. I don't know what happened there, but was able to recover for second place at the end of it.
Well, it was definitely a good run on that restart. You definitely passed a lot of cars there.
Thank you.
Obviously catching up to the field and just kept the hammer down there. But obviously a black flag put you down back behind those guys again. Another late caution, though, put you right back up in contention for this one. And it is only a 4-race season, so a second place finish to start it off is definitely a good thing to do.
Yeah, for sure. I just got to send a shout out to Josh Hanner actually for giving me some pushes there when I got the black flag to help me stay with the pack. So that was able to stay on the lead lap for a while after that, so I didn't lose too much time. I would appreciate it if he didn't butt me in the corners as much, but that's okay. But yeah, second place, helps for the points. Gonna go for that championship, probably win it no problem. But just looking forward to the rest of the races.
Well, there you have it. Well, obviously a big night here tonight with the 500 coming up next. So, sponsor shout-outs. Who helps you get it done?
I don't know who helps me get it done, to be honest with you. Just everyone that I made friends with tonight. I got to thank all them, and got to give a great shout out to my friend Frank Bush's Health Spins on the win tonight. He did a fantastic job, and everyone else back at the shop who puts the Dale into these cars to make it go fast.
There you have it. Well, we wish you the best of luck coming up here in just a little bit, and maybe
Thanks,
talk to you in Victory Lane in there too.
Oh, you definitely will.
All right, there you have it, Brandon Chimerko, our second place finisher here tonight. And down in Victory Lane, though, you found Frank Busilia, a rather happy driver down there, Evan.
He is, because he is the winner for the season opener on the IROC 4 Championship. Brandon Chimerko gets the second place, and it is Frank Busilia who gets the win tonight in Daytona. Frank, congratulations to you. You took it under the yellow, and you survived that late race restart to get the job done tonight from 11th on the grid.
Yeah, thanks, guys. That was one of the more interesting ones. I got to first off thank Jason was staying with me up high, and it was a lap and a half to go. I didn't think he had me cleared, and I was watching the replay. He wasn't there, but I guess I don't know if he just misjudged the 3 or not. But as hard as these things are to come by, you cherish them when you can. It was that, I don't know what to say about the last lap before caution. That was intense. We just never lifted, and we're in victory lane, so I'll take it.
And you're picking up the momentum in the IROC series as well, because tonight your second IROC win, and the most recent one coming for the third race of IROC 3. So the numbers are getting quite good for you, and in a spot now that you could fight for a championship at IROC. And the second win, first one on the season, you'll lead. But it is a 4-race championship. One bad race basically takes you out of it. How important was getting this first win, and then what's going to be the outlook for the next 3 races? Because although, again, the IROC series doesn't get as much exposure as I think we would like, talking a lot about the ISS stuff and the Rod Car Truck Tour taking up the majority of these Friday night slots here at 8 o'clock on Eastern Time. But it is a very fun series, and it is a great one to watch. Rod Flagg's a back-to-back champion. I know you want to add your name to that list, though.
Yeah, he's got the ISS championship and a couple IROC ones, so I want to join that list too. But I know starting in the back, the first 3 laps is more just a feel it out type thing. It's it's pretty tight. The tires wear out, so any chance we can get, come down and get tires on it. I took 2 on that last stop just because it's under 5 to go, and caution comes out and race is over. So I think we went green with 3 or 4 laps to go, but it's definitely different. You can beat and bang these things a little bit, and having the points lead now, really, like you said, one race, the next race I could finish 12th and end up with no points, or I guess it's 1 point, but just have to take it race by race. I'm enjoying it now. I may be sour and salty on the next one, so we just take it as it comes.
And I know I just mentioned that we'd like to talk a lot more about this IROC series, but I do have to ask you about later on tonight. Just less than an hour now until we hit the grid for the iSuperspeedway 500. Single biggest event on the calendar, and it comes as the 3rd on the season and the 2nd points race on the Season 6 campaign. It's a big step in the right direction. There is a chase, though, and we saw a thrilling chase this past season. So although Daytona tonight not as critical as this race when you look at the overall scheme of things, because that being said, you can kind of go out on a limb a little bit more in this 500. You want the big trophy, I'm sure of that. What's the game plan for 124 laps?
Well, I certainly made it hard on myself. Had to fall back on last season's points, so I think I'm starting 36th. It's going to just play it lap by lap, depending on how the front looks, or, try not to use that one reset. I mean, it's a long race for one reset. But yeah, this this one isn't really about points. I've never really been in a good place in the 500 to go for a win. I mean, I've had some decent, okay finishes, but never really challenging. So that's the goal, with hopefully under 10 to go. Just be there with a shot at it, and we'll see how it turns out.
We hope to talk with you later, Frank. In the meantime, the sponsors, the shout-outs, friends, and family. Who do you want to give a call to when we got you down here in Victory Lane?
Yeah, absolutely. First, every interview I do has got to start off with the wifey for allowing me to play virtual NASCAR on Friday nights. So shout out to her. And you said friends and family, Rod, for putting on the IROC and the trucks and the Super Speedway series. And you guys, Evan, Cisco, Andy, Laura, always doing a great job every week. We're always thinking of Laura as well, hoping she's doing okay. And we'll go get him and try to go get him in the 500.
All right, Frank, thanks for popping in and talking with us again. Congratulations to you. Hopefully we'll see you right back here in about 2.5 hours.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Evan.
So that is tonight's winner in the IROC race at Daytona. Frank Basillia III walking away with the checkered flag, Andy. Warm them up because we're getting set to do it. 124 laps, the longest race on the season. The unofficial or official, I guess, I don't know how you want to look at it, season opener for the ISS Season 6 calendar. It is race 3. It is points race number 2, but it is the one that everybody looks at, and it's coming up next on LSRTV. We're looking forward to it. We're hoping everybody's going to tune in with us for that one. It's always a fun time.
Yeah, it is. And like you said, even though it's round 3 technically of the season, it's definitely the start of the season. That stuff we had over the last couple of weeks with the shootout and then the duels, that's all just preliminary stuff. That's all just kind of wetting your lips, getting ready for this the big main event here tonight. And it's 310 miles. It's a long race, 124 laps. They only get one reset, so you got to use it wisely, and you got to be patient, I think, especially at the start of this race. This first half of the race is pretty much just going to have to be jockeying for position, playing it smart, playing it cool, and trying to get yourself there in that second half of the race to be up towards the front with an opportunity to win the biggest race of the season.
And that one coming up in just 45 minutes next at LSRTV. So until then, we hope you tune in. Go to iSuperspeedway.com, get more information as well. You can go on Twitter at iSuperspeedway and Facebook.com/iSuperspeedway. Stay up to date with everything LSRTV online at our website at LiveSimRacing.com. And our Facebook page is Facebook.com/LiveSimRacingTV. So until next time, on behalf of everybody at LSRTV, congratulations to Frank Basillia, your IROC 4 season opener winner in Daytona. And on behalf of the team tonight, for myself, Evan Pasoko, for Andy Kessler, and as well, Cisco Scaramouza, bidding you good night from Daytona. We'll be right back here in about 45 minutes for the iSuperspeedway 500. We'll see you then.